To the patriotic Americans watching this video, my name is Kobe, and I was a delegate to the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. I say was because my delegate position and my position on the Credentials Committee has been stolen by the establishment. The crux of this problem is the grassroots versus the establishment. We, the grassroots, won statewide this year for the first time ever, and now they are stealing our delegates and national committee members. At the May 4th Missouri Republican State Convention, there were two main problems. Both of those problems were created by the Missouri GOP party leaders. The first problem was that the credentials were a complete debacle, but the state convention itself was ultimately able to resolve the problems and continue. The second problem was a power grab by the state party chairman Nick Myers. We fixed that problem also. But the real issue here is that the establishment of the Missouri Republican Party lost every single meaningful vote that day, and now they are upset. We, the grassroots state convention delegates, did nothing wrong. We simply fixed the problems that they had created, and now they're trying to blame us. So let's talk about that first problem, the credentialing issues. When the convention started at 9 a.m., the Credentials Committee was hard at work completing the check-in process. This should have been wrapped up in about 30 minutes. However, it actually took over 4 hours and wrapped up early in the afternoon. The final resolution came when a parliamentarian read the roll out loud to the convention delegates. There were approximately 850 names read individually. This process also included acknowledging absentees and promoting alternates. Next, the credentials chairperson read their report totals to the convention. Following discussion, there were no motions to challenge, and there was a unanimous vote to approve those credentials as presented. As recorded on a video, the vote was called by the chairman saying, "Seeing no nays and overwhelming number of yeses, the credentials report is accepted." Not one single person voted against the credentials. That was our opposition's opportunity to challenge the credentials, and they didn't do it. Since the Missouri Republican Party created all of those credentialing issues, and the state convention itself resolved those issues, the challenge should be resolved in the favor of the state convention and the grassroots delegates. So we've talked about that credentialing problem. Now let's talk about the second problem, the rules issue. It is here that we again had a conflict, but we resolved it through the actions of the state convention. In the fall of 2023, the Missouri Republican Party Chairman Nick Myers submitted a Form 16F as required by the RNC. This form tells the RNC how and when Missouri will be selecting its 54 delegates and 54 alternates. It is these 108 people that represent the Missouri voters at the National Convention. The document submitted by Chairman Myers had a handwritten questionnaire. The handwritten 16F summary clearly states in Mr. Myers' own handwriting how the at-large delegates were to be elected. As you can see here, it states, "Vote of the delegates at the May 4th, 2024 State Convention." That statement is exactly what we did at the state convention, and we did not violate that statement or any rules. However, the Missouri GOP's call to convention did have a rule that contradicts the Missouri standing rules, and it also violated 3 RNC rules. It violated Rule 15B, 16B1, and 16D1. So a problem clearly existed, and we needed to resolve that before we proceeded at the state convention. So at that point in the convention, Robert's Rules of Orders requires that the proposed rules be ratified or allows for the change. The delegates needed to remove the conflicts and the violations of rules, so in making that correction, we did not change the exact delegate selection process as handwritten by Mr. Myers on that summary 16F. We followed the 16F exactly by allowing the state convention to vote on the delegates. By the way, in Missouri, The state convention itself is the highest governing body with the highest authority in all of the Republican Party. We have the video evidence. We also have 350 affidavits attesting to the events of the state convention. Our opponents have less than 20 affidavits from the upset losers, and much of which they say is incorrect. We, the Grassroots, have the preponderance of evidence. Please look at this evidence and evaluate for yourself. Don't listen to their complaining and their lies. This contest has already had one hearing before the RNC Committee on Contests. This 9-person committee has a majority of establishment people already on it, including Missouri's own Carrie Almond, who lost her vote at that state convention. At the contest committee, she's had to recuse herself from the vote, but she has already spent much time disparaging the Grassroots and pleading her case to her friends on that contest committee. That was nothing but a tainted jury. They, the contest committee, even denied our request for an oral hearing. Basically, they told us, sit down and shut up. We don't want to hear from the Grassroots. The RNC Committee on Contests had the audacity to even vacate our delegates and then give those delegates to the Missouri Party, the people who caused the problem, and now they want to replace us. They selected people to replace us who support their establishment tactics. They stole the election from the duly elected delegates, and then they're trying to give it back to the people who caused the problem to begin with, the establishment. We are now appealing to the Credentials Committee, which is composed of mostly Grassroots delegates like me. It is my plea that they will understand this fight against the establishment and vote to uphold our state convention. There are others across this great nation that are also fighting this same battle. We can't let them win. We must stand with President Trump and fight the establishment. One last point. At the state convention, we got rid of 2 establishment national committee members and replaced them with 2 Grassroots committee members. They are also now being challenged by the people they overwhelmingly defeated. If we win back the duly elected delegates, then we will also retain our Grassroots National Committee members that we overwhelmingly won. Please help us by letting your discontent be known. Don't let the establishment win. You can visit the RNC website at www.gop.com. You can also find them on Facebook and other social media outlets. Please tell them to support the Grassroots delegates from Missouri. Thank you.